It's a simple device, but sometimes the simplest products are the best ideas and the best problem solvers.
This never works. Her vision was to transform a simple spark into Rinseroo, a household innovation that became an Amazon bestseller and earned Lori Greiner's golden ticket on Shark Tank. Today, Lisa, an award-winning inventor with several patents and a mission to empower women entrepreneurs, shows us how to conquer doubt, dream big, and turn everyday problems into life-changing solutions. I'm Larry Sprung, your host for the Midland Money Mindset and founder and wealth advisor of Midland Financial. Let's dive into today's show. Well, I am super excited today to have Lisa Lane, inventor of the Rinseroo and president of Lane Innovations. As I said in the intro, thank you. And we're looking forward to this conversation. Lisa, how are you today?
Hi, Larry. I'm great. Thanks for having me. This is a great chance for me to talk about my story. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to sharing it with everybody. But, we'll spend a lot of time on what you're doing today and about the Rinseroo. But our listeners are really enamored with the entrepreneurial journey because a lot of them are entrepreneurs themselves. So Can you share with our listeners a bit about who you are, kind of what led you up to founding the Rinseroo? What was that entrepreneurial journey like?
Yeah, it's interesting. I really had no intention of becoming an inventor. This was sort of an aha moment that came to me in my shower. My prior life, I was a pharmaceutical rep. I worked in sales training. So it was nothing I had planned. I was in my shower at the Jersey Shore. I was bathing my dog. I was trying to clean my shower. I was filling a bucket over and over to get the job done. It was messy. It was time consuming. And I thought there's got to be a better way. And, they say good things happen in the shower, your ideas. Well, this literally was in the shower. And I came up with this idea that if I just came up with a rubber connector to attach to the shower head, that I can easily add a hose and I could, get all the rinsing and cleaning done without filling a bucket over and over. I did some research. And the more I researched, I thought, gosh, this could be a mass market product. I had no idea where to go from there. I had no manufacturing background, nothing. But the more I did research, the more excited I got. And that's where it all started, right there in the shower.
So no entrepreneurial upbringing. You weren't selling lollipops out of your high school locker or anything like that, eh?
No, I kind of remember when I was a pharmaceutical rep, but maybe I could have like a store one day and sell like medical equipment or something. I thought that could be fun, but no, it really was nothing planned at all. I love being in sales, which I think helped a lot, in this endeavor.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the Rinseroo. I think you described it a little bit, but can you explain, if I'm a listener listening to this today, what would be my use for this and what does that look like?
Yeah, well, it's a the first one was a slip-on shower hose for cleaning the shower. That was back in 2019. Since then, we've scaled it. We've added line extensions. We have 7 patents now, and each one is designed for a different purpose. So we have one that helps clean a shower. You can just attach it to the shower head. We have one, our bestseller, attaches to a tub spout to help bathe your dog quickly and easily. We have another one that has a spray head for bathing a dog in the shower. But even elderly people use it. If they're seated in the shower and they don't have a handheld attachment, they can add this to their shower head. If they're visiting, their children who don't have one, they need to take a bath or a shower. It's sort of an easy way to add a hose to your shower or tub. It's a simple device, but sometimes the simplest products are the best ideas. Right. And the best problem solvers.
And this was just born out of your own necessity, which is amazing. And then you had this idea, and then where did you go next once you thought you were onto something? What did that process look like?
That was the challenging part, because I thought, wow, I have this great idea. Now what? Right? And I think a lot of people out there that are listening, when I talk to people, a lot of people have a great idea in their head. They just don't know where to go with it, right? So it just turned out, lucky us, we have the internet full of information, anything you could possibly want to learn, you could dive in and learn. But what I did is I've always been a Shark Tank fan, right? I read Lori Greiner's book. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's her big inventing book. Basically, the gist of it is your goal when reading the book is to figure out if you have a hero product or a zero product. And a hero product typically checks all these boxes. It's demonstrable, it's mass market, and you're able to produce it in a way that the consumer can afford it. And my idea checked every box, and I thought, gosh, I have a hero. And I dove into that book, and it told me how to, find a manufacturer, how to get an engineer. Everything was in the book, and any little minutia thing that was missing, I could find on the internet. It's so easy to make your dream come true if you can dive in and are willing to spend the time doing it. So that's how I did it.
And did I read properly that I guess your son helped you design the prototype, like after you went through reading Lori's book? Is that right?
Yeah. So my whole family was at the Jersey Shore. My son was home from college at the time, and I thought, his name is Jake. I said, Jake, I think I have an idea here. Help me. How can I make this? I need a stretchy thing that connects to the shower head. And he says, Mom, what about those things that you get from China that are those, what do you call them? Those stretchy balls and things like that. He's like, you need that material. So we literally went online on Amazon and ordered something that we thought would work. And we kind of jerry-rigged a very rough prototype. And to our pleasant surprise, it worked really well. And then from there, we got an engineer and we found a manufacturer, and the rest is history. So, yeah.
Wow. And basically, if I understood what you said earlier correctly, basically you got this whole roadmap from Lori's book, and that really changed your life and this trajectory and this path you're on.
It really did. Yeah. I mean, we were on Shark Tank just this past January, season 16, episode 10. And it was great to meet her in person. It's not easy to get onto Shark Tank, but to be able to thank her in person for her advice in that book. I told her, I said, Lori, your advice literally changed our lives for the better.
Yeah, we've had a number of Shark Tank entrepreneurs on the show. I think the most recent we had Rachel from Borderie. She was on episode 247. So we're a big fan in the Sprung household of Shark Tank, so we watch it very often. I know that each entrepreneur that's gone on the show has had their own experiences, and I know a few of the sharks were making offers when you were on the show, but I believe you had the experience that Lori gave you and your son Jake her golden ticket. Now, I don't believe we've had anybody on the show that has received a golden ticket. What was that like?
Well, the funny thing is, honestly, I never even knew that the golden ticket existed. But in preparation to go on to Shark Tank, I studied every episode. I wanted to know what questions are they going to ask. I wanted to have a response to every objection. And during that studying of all these episodes, I found out that she once a season gives a golden ticket to an entrepreneur that she feels has a product that really has the most potential. And she doesn't even really give it out every year. I think the year prior to us, she didn't give one out. So it was kind of in the back of my mind that this was maybe something that could happen, but it really wasn't something I thought would come to me. And I was totally shocked, totally excited. But I think the fact, the salesperson in me is like, I have to tell her about this book that I read, her book. And we just connected on that. She was so grateful that, she was able to help us. And it was such a great moment on the show. And I think she felt obligated to give it to us in a way. But it was truly amazing, a shock. And obviously something that, now as a brand, to say that we got Lori's golden ticket really adds credibility to the brand. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, how much value do you feel like she's lent to you, Jake, and the company and the success of the product?
It's early to say. Unfortunately, after all this happened, we had the whole tariff situation hit. So all of our plans to scale and grow, we were kind of putting things on hold with the big tariffs. But certainly it's to be determined. She's our partner. She's not driving our business. And she said that from day one. She's like, look, you're running the business. She's there to help when she can. but she's not running our business. She has a lot of entrepreneurs that she works with, and we understand that there's a certain degree of she's not going to help us in every way, but it's great to have her, the golden ticket from her. It's really fabulous.
Yeah, amazing. In your first year, my understanding is Rinseroo did over $1 million in sales, which is unbelievable for a new product. What do you attribute that success to?
Again, I go back to research. I think a lot of people, and my intention initially was to try it on Amazon. I thought that's where the consumers are by the hundreds of millions. Anyone with a shower could potentially use this thing. So we did all in our power to learn how to succeed on Amazon. A lot of people jump on there and think it's easy. You can't just go on there without a plan. We researched how to do a listing, how to look at what's out there and make your mousetrap even better than what's out there, how to advertise properly, how to build a listing that captures the attention of whoever's looking at it, how to create good videos. There's a lot. And again, this is all online too. Anyone could do it. But the key was diving in and going all in a way that really was smart and purposeful.
And you think that was the impetus to doing that $1 million in sales right in that first year?
Absolutely. I mean, Amazon, people like to complain about Amazon. Amazon is our bread and butter. We do probably 85 to 90% of our sales are on Amazon. And if you have a product that's maybe a little better than what's out there, or you have a patent and there's nothing like it out there, and you put it on Amazon and you advertise in the right way, there are hundreds of millions of people on Amazon that are not just searching around, they're wanting to buy. And you get those keywords, you bid on the keywords, it gets in their face and they like what they see, click, they buy. It's amazing.
Did you guys look at other platforms, or was it, you really were, aligned with Amazon right off the bat and felt like that was going to be the best path for you and Rinseroo?
Well, I just feel like Amazon is so easy to test something. You could even change your price in a day. Like, hey, is $24.99 the correct price? Should it be $19.99? You can tell in a day how that affects sales. Obviously, we're on Shopify. We eventually, did the Walmart.com, but that volume is, 5% of Amazon. Amazon is where everything is. We now are getting into TikTok, which is really fun. It's fun to make videos on TikTok. We build a following, and it really allows us to show the human side of the brand. And I feel like that is so important because people buy from people, right? Mm-hmm. When you can tell the Rinseroo story, instead of like just the customer seeing an ad, they can see the people behind it, the story, the connection. We connect to our customers that way. We can advertise on TikTok as well. And the conversion rate is amazing. And we're building a following, which is great. So that too is fabulous. Yeah.
And I would think that this product lends itself to, being demonstrable, and being able to see it on social media is really helpful to the end potential user to see, maybe they, in theory, they looked at it and they were like, oh, I don't know how I could use this. But, seeing a video and how it's being used in practical terms could be helpful for them, figuring out a way that this might fit into their household as well.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is we often have our customers coming to us, giving us ideas of, hey, you should show a video. I filled my fish tank with a Rinseroo today. I bathed my baby in the sink with a Rinseroo. Show us a video. And then we get influencers that come on board on TikTok and they show it to their followers. And it's like, it blossoms from there. It really grows exponentially when you have all that support. It's really great.
Yeah, I think that's one of the potential good things that come out of social media. You have that multiplier effect for, products and services can come
Absolutely.
As a result of social media for sure. Mm-hmm. Do you know finances can be joyful with your partner? We created a fantastic guide for couples to start their journey surrounding their finances. Head over to Mytland.us/couplesjoy to download your free copy today. Don't miss out. Start bringing more joy into your financial conversations. Rinseroo has held the Amazon best-selling orange flag in the major category of shower head and faucet. What do you attribute that success to? Because I'm sure that's a very crowded area to obtain that flag for.
It really is. And you know what? I'm so excited about that because we're like a ma and pa brand in New Jersey, and we are going head to head with Delta Faucets, Moen. To have that badge is, I'm so like, I'm, patting myself on the shoulder there. Like, that's amazing. Honestly, I go back to TikTok again and the personalization of the brand. When you think of Moen, do you think of a person behind Moen? No, you think of this big conglomerate company with hundreds of, maybe thousands of employees. And I feel like the connection to me and my son and the brand story is what sells it, honestly.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, and getting the flag I think is one thing, and then keeping the flag is another thing, which you guys have done very successfully, which is a testament to what you're doing.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it's a problem solver. The Moens of the world, you have to install those. People don't want to install these things. If you're cleaning multiple showers, you can put it in your cleaning caddy. Slip it on, attach it to one, move on to the next shower. It's just convenience. And I think that helps as well.
And easy.
And easy.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things, being somebody who watches Shark Tank quite often is they talk about like products like Rinseroo having copycats and fraudsters that pop up and try to, replicate the same product. And, I think on one hand, it's flattering that somebody went through the time, effort, and energy to do that. And on the opposite side it's a hassle because now your brand is being diluted perhaps by an inferior product. How has Rinseroo addressed the whole idea about copycats and how those, continue just naturally to pop up?
Yeah, there are companies out there. We've used Red Points in the past. We currently use IP Mode, and they'll take all of your IP. And I guess it's some kind of a bot that goes around and they can find all these places where your IP is being infringed. The problem is it's a whack-a-mole sometimes. Like you take them down here and then the next minute they're up there. But it's very, very frustrating and it's infuriating. I remember when we first launched, they literally will take all of your images. It was me in my shower with my dog, with my product. And I thought, how dare they do this? But that's what they do. And there's hundreds of, and a lot of them are Chinese sellers. They know how to look at volume information on Amazon and they just pick the ones that are selling the best. They make their own version. The problem when they do that is they create an inferior product and then it's a race to the bottom because they undercut your price. So it's not good for the brand and it's an ongoing battle. And since Shark Tank, it's sort of reemerged too. We're now taking more down than ever. But so there are companies out there that will help. Otherwise, it's a full-time job just taking down the fakes out there.
Yeah, I would imagine it's terribly frustrating. I mean, if I'm an entrepreneur listening to this and I have a product that potentially could get replicated or has gotten replicated, do you recommend hiring an outside company to handle that? Or is it something you feel can be handled internally?
Well, I think, you could try it initially. I think it depends on how much they're infringing and how many there are. In our case, we started that way, just initially trying to take them down. But it, like I said, became a full-time job. They're on Temu, they're on Shein, they're on AliExpress. When they get into AliExpress ships it all over the world, and then you're on Walmart.com and it's everywhere. So when it gets to that point, I think it's better to nip it in the bud than let it get out of control.
Yeah, I feel like I'd have to hire somebody outside because if I had to spend time, surfing the internet to see all this, it would just frustrate me more and get me, angrier by the minute seeing the products, replicated in places that I know wasn't ours.
Yeah, it's infuriating. And then, you get to the point too where you're spending time doing this when you could be scaling the business. Where's your time and effort better spent?
Yeah. And, in full disclosure, full transparency, we don't have a product, with my firm, Midland Financial, we're a service, but we've had bad actors replicate, build websites using our photos, et cetera. So we're well aware of, how that works and how frustrating that could be. It's
I guess
terrible.
that's a compliment. Like you said, if they're copying, you must be doing something right.
It's like the person who said, if it rains on your wedding day, that's good luck. I feel like it's in the same vein.
Yeah.
It's just a nice way to put a spin on a very bad situation,
Yeah.
right?
It's hard to find the love for that. That's for sure.
Yes, sometimes. As somebody who works with a family member, my wife is our chief marketing officer. I have to ask, what has it been like to build this with your son, Jake? What's that been like?
Oh gosh. Well, he graduated from college during COVID and his degree was in finance and business. And he literally walked in the door and I was at the point where I was like, I need help. He walked in the door from college. I handed him a Rinseroo and I said, Jake, you're hired. This is when nobody was hiring during COVID. And it's honestly been such a joy I get to, he's in Tampa at the moment, but we see each other every day. We meet on Zoom. It's fabulous. I just love it. We've become so close. He's great. He's good at things that I'm not good at. He does, finance stuff. He does logistics things, and I'm more sales and marketing. And together we make a great team. But how fun is that? Like, I'm sure you enjoy working with your wife. The fact that she does what she does and you do what you do, sometimes it works out really well.
Absolutely. So is this his full-time role, with Rinseroo? Is that what he's doing full-time?
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess he will not have the same story that you have when all said and done about his entrepreneurial journey. He will have some kind of background to kind of fall back on and say that he started his entrepreneurial journey at a very young age, and it was almost like something he had to take on.
Yeah. He went to Florida State University, and actually the entrepreneurship program reached out and they did a whole thing about us, and it was pretty cool. And I think he really enjoys it. I think there's a lot of young people out there that are getting into e-commerce, and if Rinseroo ever goes away, he has a great resume. He could work anywhere. So I don't think he's leaving anytime soon, though.
Yeah. Are you guys constantly innovating? Like you've mentioned, you've had, a number of different products now that basically have iterated from that initial product that you had thought about in the shower. Or are you continuing to iterate new products? And are you staying in this one vertical, or are you looking to expand beyond that?
Absolutely. I always say, when you're selling on Amazon, the more you have to sell on Amazon, the more you sell, right? So you're always thinking of new ideas. So we've launched, it's called a Dust Daisy dryer vent cleaner. Same idea though. It has the Stretch Connect. It attaches to a vacuum. We have things for the shower. Anyway, on our website, rinseroo.com, just line extensions and things that are in that space, the pet space, the shower space, the cleaning space. And we're always thinking there's always something next on the horizon. Thanks to our great manufacturer, we have a great relationship with them. But I think when you're an entrepreneur, you're never satisfied. And it's so much fun to think of new product ideas. So we're always thinking of that.
Yeah. So, you mentioned something earlier, and, I know that this episode is going to go out not too long after we have our conversation today. So I'm curious, as somebody who is directly involved in creating a product, right, and distributing it and subject to price changes, how have you seen the tariffs impact your business directly? Are you taking more of a wait and see approach, or has it really affected your bottom line in terms of now you have to raise prices and things of that nature?
Well, initially when the tariffs were 145%, everything halted. We weren't placing orders. We were sitting in a wait and see situation, and we thought it's going to be maybe a couple of months. So we did just that, thankfully, because, when it's 145%, just to get that product off of the boat is like a house mortgage. It's not an easy nut to eat if you're a small business. So what we've done is we found ways we're shrinking our packaging a bit so that our fulfillment costs at Amazon are lower. And, our products are not, the cost of goods is not high. So if a 30% tariff is $1 or $2, it's not going to make or break our customer experience. So we could add $1 here, but we've opted to just reduce packaging. We want to not add any cost for our customers. So if it's simple to do, we're doing that.
That's great. Well, thank you for that real life, example, because I think a lot of people think about these things, but don't really understand or know how they work in practicality and where they may or may not be being impacted. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
And, you mentioned the joy of working with Jake, and, we're all about joy on the Midland Money Mindset. And the final question we ask each of our guests, and many of, if not all of our listeners, wait around to hear, the entrepreneur's answer to this question, because it changes, so frequently from person to person. We've heard some great things have come from this question, and that is, what did you do today that brought you joy and put you in the right mindset for success?
Today specifically, or I don't know if it's something specific today, but like I said earlier, I feel like every person out there has an idea in their head, right? And for some reason, they don't really act on it. Maybe they're too busy. Maybe they're a mom, or maybe they feel like they don't have enough money. What brings me joy is encouraging people that have these ideas in their heads to, take a little time, dive in, see if it's worth pursuing, because sometimes it really is. And it's so easy these days to build a product, or, your financial advisor. It doesn't have to be a product, but maybe it's something where you could really add value and grow a business, and don't just sit on the idea. Do a little investigation and a little homework, and you never know what could come of it.
Were you exploring this and going down the route with Rinseroo while you had your corporate job, or did you just drop everything and go 100% into Rinseroo right off the bat?
Well, I wasn't working full time at the time. I was working a couple days a week, and my husband was the primary breadwinner. So I really as it came up, I thought, well, let me just do this in my spare time. And it blossomed into a full-time job. I now have my son working full-time. My daughter works part-time for me. I have a few 1099s on the payroll. So yeah, it's just sort of, when opportunity hits or knocks, you kind of have to jump in head first. And that's what we've done. So
yeah. And I think to your point, earlier about, getting joy out of people exploring these paths if they have ideas, I agree with you. And I think many times people think that they have to drop everything and go with this idea and explore it. And, in many cases, if you are one of the breadwinners of the household, you can keep that day job and kind of keep it as a side gig till you go through that process that you went through, that you got through Lori's book and said, hey, this is hitting all the marks. I think I have something here to kind of invest and move forward into a full-time, gig. And I think many times we think it's all or none, and it's not necessarily the case. I think you can. I think there's room for both many times as you're exploring that. There'll come a point where you're going to have to make a decision if you want it to be successful. But I think initially, you could keep that full-time job as you explore the viability of this, newfound idea.
I think that's a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make, is you don't quit the day job until you know you have something substantial to make up for the lack of the revenue from the day job.
Agreed. Well, Lisa, it's been a pleasure having you on, and we're going to have all of your information and Rinseroo's information in the show notes. But if people want to learn more about Rinseroo, learn more about you, connect with you, what's the easiest and the best place for them to do that?
Well, we have a website, Rinseroo.com. We also are on, I'm on LinkedIn if anybody wants to reach out. I love connecting with other entrepreneurs. We're on TikTok, Rinseroo. We're on Instagram, all the usual places. And we sell on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, Chewy, Lowe's. And if you do a little Google search, you'll see Rinseroos all over. Just make sure you don't get one of the fakes.
Yeah, I agree. Make sure you get the OG version. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you for taking out time of your day for sharing your story and Rinseroo with us. We appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. It's been a pleasure.
Lisa, thank you so much for bringing your joy and energy to the Midland Money Mindset. From sparking an idea in the shower to winning Shark Tank's golden ticket and building Rinseroo into a household name, you've shown us that even the simplest ideas can transform lives. Your passion, courage, and dedication to lifting up women entrepreneurs everywhere leaves us inspired, grateful, and smiling. Lisa Lane and all she is up to can be found across most social media platforms. All the contact information needed to find them can be found in the show notes.
The opinions voiced in the Midland Money Mindset Show with Larry Sprung are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No strategy ensures success or protects against loss. To determine what may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Investment advisory services offered through CWM LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Guests on the Midland Money Mindset Show are not affiliated with CWM LLC.